Okay, so this is basically something I've always been debating for like months and months and months and months from now. And recently I've always been talking about the whole aspect of this whole thing and the reason why, like with purpose and all that stuff, because I've always wanted to like find my own purpose and find what the meaning of life really is. And the thing is, what's really holding us back is the fact that really a lot of people would often tell us that we should always, like, what do you want to study, or what do you want to do with your life? What is it that we actually should do? And I guess around this time, I remember last year, I've always been struggling to actually find my own purpose of what my meaning of life really is. And I've always wanted to figure out like, what is it that I really want to do in my life, right? And I guess there's often times at this young age, I guess like when you're at the age of 17 or when you're at the age of 18, you kind of get surrounded by so many people that would often, ask us to like, hey, what do you want to study? What do you want to do with your life? What is it? What career do you want to study? What college do you want to go to? And it gives me huge understanding. Like I always put myself as as an undeclared person. Like I just don't even know what I want to study, because I guess when I think about it, it's just like I always think 10 years ahead, because I often know that when it comes to these things, when it comes to these terms, that when these people would often tell us like what we want to study, it's basically like we're signing a contract. It's basically like we're signing a contract for marriage, or like we're signing a contract for a house, and we're just kind of too young enough to kind of understand that. It's basically like the biggest decisions that we actually have to make in our lives. And that's what really scares us the most is the fact that these people would often tell us about what career we want to study. And these, people would often just pressuring us of what we want to do, right? Because the truth is, most of these people who are in college right now, most of the people who are in universities, like the thing is, bro, like they're basically stuck like you. Like they're basically just like us. They're basically stuck like us. They don't know what we're doing. They don't know what they're doing the same way as we are not. We don't even know what we're doing, right? And that's okay. It's okay that you don't know what you're doing. It's okay that we don't know what we're doing in life, because we have to understand that, we're too young to understand these things, and we have to understand we all change. We're not going to be engineers for the rest of our lives, right? We're not going to be lawyers or doctors for the rest of our lives. I don't know, right? We often think a long term. These people, they always think a little bit short term, and they don't really think about the outcome. They don't really, view the future, because sometimes they be like, oh yeah, don't focus on the future. But at the same time, we often have to think long term. We have to think 5 to 10 years ahead, right? And that's the reason why, like, for some reason, like I always put myself as I'm just undeclared or anything like that, because I always think long term. I always think of like what the future really holds us back, right? Because what if I'm going to actually end up switching to a different career? What if I'm ever going to switch to a different, discipline or field, right? So that's the reason why I've still been like struggling to what I actually want to find, right? And I guess everywhere I often go, whenever I go to like school, whenever I'm around with like groups of people, when I'm with family, etc., right? They often tell us, like we often go to these like social events, right? They would often tell us like, oh, hey, what do you want to study? Oh, what do you want to do when you grow up, or this and that? And they tell us to the point where like, it's like a huge, biggest decision that I have to make in my life, where like we want to figure out what we actually want to study. It's like a huge, major decision that is like the fate of us. Like it's like the biggest, like if you don't decide, like we're fucked, right? This is how like we often feel a little bit pressured by these societal norms, just telling us like what do we want to study. It's like a huge aspect of like, this is like the biggest decision that we have to make in our lives. If we don't know what we want to study, we're fucked. We're literally gonna die, right? This is what we often feel like. But the truth is, these people who are like in our age, who are also in the same problem, like those people, right, that they are actually in college or at university, they're literally in the same problem that we are, dude. Like they're literally in the same problem, and they still don't even know what they want to study. Honestly, like they're literally like, even if they go to university or community college or whatever the fuck they're in, like they're in the same problem as we are, bro. Like they are in the same fucking problem. So don't think about, oh yeah, what I want to do, what I want to study. Oh yeah, should I follow my purpose? Should I follow my passion? Whatever, right? And let's get right. I head into purpose, because I guess the whole college thing is like right out of the way. When I often think about college and when I think about, I guess, what I want to study, right? It's like I'm signing a contract. It's like I'm signing like a 10-year contract with a 4-year contract. And it's like I can't get out of it. And what if I have to switch careers? Because you have to understand that, my future self is like way more better than my current self. It's way more smarter than my current self. And it's basically like when you basically sign a contract to stay in an apartment, or when you sign a contract to stay in a house, right? It's like, that's what really is when you're trying to figure out the career that you basically want to study, because it basically feels like we're signing a contract, but it's not the end of the fucking world, dude. It's not the end of the world. Relax and don't just think about failure. Like failure is always going to happen, right? Failure is always going to happen. And the school system made us feel that failure is a bad thing, and that when we change things are going to be really bad. Don't worry, bro. Calm your fucking ass off, dude. Please. All right, just take a deep breath. Maybe just have a bottle of water. I don't even know where my water is, but honestly, bro, just calm down, man. Just relax. Like, everything will be okay, for fuck's sake, dude. Like, stop trying to think about what you want to do with your life. Focus on mastery. Focus on building skills. Focus on establishing skills. And this is something, and maybe I might not practice what I preach, but it's just that this is something I wish I could have, like, asked myself more. Like, I wish I could have, like, developed skills, because I hate when people, like, you know, these self-help gurus, right? They often lie to us, and they often tell us that, oh yeah, you have to find your purpose by following your passion. And yeah, I think that works too. But at the same time, it's just, I often believe, like, if we really have nothing else to do with our lives, we have nothing else to do with our lives, we have nothing else that we can do, that we can have fun and turn work into play. I often believe that we should often have established, like, a lot of really good skills that establishes a lot of creativity, a lot of control, and a lot of impact to the world. And we often have, like, this huge, like, fucked up mindset that we should always, like, what is it that the world has to offer to me? In fact, we have to figure out what we can offer to the world by giving our gift. And that is what really is how we can actually do what we want to do. Or maybe even figure out what the fuck we want to study, right? So don't worry about what you want to study. I can guarantee you, like, most of these people, like, they are in the same situation as us. They're literally having the same problem as us. They're literally stuck as us. They're too young like us. So don't complain, and don't, like, panic that this is the end of the world, or that when you're studying a career, like, this is gonna be, like, the biggest decision of our lives. Like, calm down, dude. Like, relax, meditate, just breathe, and just and if they keep asking you, like, just think as you like, but just behave like others, right? If they just ask you these, you know, conventional average questions that these, you know, conventional people ask us, just think as you like and just behave like them. Just behave like them. Like, I know, like, these people are, like, influenced by modern day slavery, but at the same time, just calm your ass up, dude. Like, just relax, man. Honestly.